Welcome again to KLOS Guitars. Today we are going to be disassembling the guitar. So the cool feature about our KLOS guitars is that the neck comes off. The style of design, this is just like a standard electric guitar, so there's just 4 screws in the back, and that is what allows you to take the neck off. It's nice to take your neck off sometimes when you want to put your guitar in a suitcase or for other travel purposes. And the way that you take it off is very simple. You just need a screwdriver, you need a capo, and we recommend putting the neck in a neck sleeve once it's off, and you will need some masking tape. So the other thing that we do with our design is that we have metal inserts inside the wooden neck. So as you know, the body's carbon fiber, the neck is still wood, and that makes removing the neck and putting it back on very easy with those inserts. So the first thing you want to do is put a capo. We recommend using a little capo like this just for packaging purposes. This kind of capo works fine as well. So you put the capo on, and this will help keep the strings in place so that they don't get tangled or kind of moved around just by being loose. So after you put the capo on, you want to loosen the strings. So you're going to want to loosen them, and you kind of want to just press down here near the sound hole just so you have about a finger's width of slack in each string. I also recommend plucking the string a little bit just so that you can hear that it's detuning. You definitely don't want to tune it higher because then you might pop the string by accidentally making the string tighter. Great, now all the strings are loose. The next thing you want to do is flip the guitar over and put the edge of the neck so that the capo is just on the edge of the table. You grab your Phillips head screwdriver. It's a number 2 screwdriver. Any number 2 screwdriver will work. I would first loosen all of the screws, and then you can take each screw out one at a time. And I would put them directly into this Ziploc bag. Great. Now that the bolts are out, we could turn this right side up, and you can remove the neck just like this and put it on the side like this. And the next thing you want to do is take some masking tape and get a strip about 10 inches long and just put this on pretty loose, just on the bridge pins, so that the bridge pins won't get lost. Do the same thing underneath the strings for the saddle, just to prevent the saddle from accidentally going anywhere. The next thing you want to do is put the neck in the neck sleeve to protect the neck. And you are now ready to put it in a suitcase. Next, you can put the guitar body in the guitar gig bag, just like this. Another thing you could do is kind of turn the top part of the gig bag kind of inside out and fold it over inside the gig bag just like this, and this will allow you to put your guitar in your suitcase, just like this. Great, so now that you know how to take your guitar apart, we want to put it back together. So you basically reverse the order of steps. First you want to take it out of the gig bag. You want to remove the neck sleeve. You want to make sure that your strings aren't twisted. For example, they could be twisted like this, and you might not realize until after you install the neck, so make sure that the neck isn't twisted. You could do that easily by just pulling one string and just making sure that it's not overlapping at all. Next thing you want to do is you want to remove the saddle tape that we installed earlier, just to keep it in the right place. You want to make sure that your saddle is basically at the bottom of the saddle slot, so make sure that it hasn't popped out. Sometimes saddles want to pop out on their own a little bit. Next thing you want to do is put the neck in place like this, and you want to make sure that there's no junk inside the neck block pocket, because that could change your action. So you put the neck in like this. You want to make sure that it's in the right place, and then check the saddle again. Make sure that the saddle hasn't come out, hasn't fallen out or hasn't moved, and that won't give you any problems. Then turn the guitar over. Put the capo right on the edge of the table like you did before. And then you can put all the screws back in the right place. Sometimes you might have to, kind of wiggle the screws a little bit to get them in the right holes. But it usually doesn't take much effort. Next, you want to tighten down the screws, but not all the way tight. You want to make sure that you leave about a millimeter gap. Then you can just double check that everything's in the right place. You can check if the string spacing is correct on both sides. Usually there should be no movement in the guitar this way, but sometimes there is a little bit of movement, very minimal, so you want to make sure that the neck is in the right place. Take the tape off the bridge pins, and we now want to tighten the strings a tiny bit. Right now there's pretty much no tension, but we want to put a tiny bit of tension on the strings. Now the reason we want to put a little bit of tension on the strings is so that the strings pull the neck into the neck pocket, so that there's absolutely no gap in between the body and the neck right here. That's crucial, because if you install and bolt down the neck and there's a gap here, it's going to change the string length and it's going to mess with your intonation. So now that we have a little bit of tension, there's definitely enough tension to pull the neck back. We could bring it back into this position with the capo on the edge of the table, and you can then at this point tighten all of the bolts. And again, that's why you wanted to keep 1 millimeter of space between the body and the bolt head. Again, at this point, when the strings are tightened just a little bit, this is a great spot to check if the string spacing is even, and if the string is off, you can pop it back in the groove in the saddle where the original groove was in the saddle. All saddles basically have a groove created when strings are installed for the first time when a guitar is made, and you always want the string to be in that same groove afterwards. So at this point we're ready to tune the guitar. You can make sure that your bridge pins are pressed in all the way, and you can now tune your guitar to the final tuning. Okay, so we have the guitar put back together and we are ready to play. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below, and thanks again.